BMS has arrived from Overkill Solar. Thanks to these fine company, I get to demonstrate what it's going to be like if you were to get the battery pack from Battery Evo by themselves, which they sell, or 4 independent cells that you're wanting to, or 8 or 16, but we're just going to work with a 4-cell system today. We're going to demonstrate how to set one up. When your cells arrive, if it's not from Battery Evo went ahead and we want to prepare them to wire them up serially. So we have negative, positive, negative, positive, and on the bottom here, positive, negative, negative. These are worth 3.65 volts when fully charged. So 3 times 4 is 12 volts. That's how we come up with our 12 volt system. We combine the 4 cells together. The way we do that is we use what's called bus bars. Bus bars are quite unique. They come straight, they come bent like this. It's soft because the cells, as they charge fully, they expand, and then when they get discharged, they contract, come back into play. So the expansion, you want to leave a little bit of room on here, so they go ahead and have room. You don't ruin the cells or anything else while they're expanding and unexpanded. And so, in order to serially hook these up, what we'll do is we'll put negative and positive, and we'll put negative and positive for these 2 cells, negative and positive for these 2 cells. We'll just have to bend this up and make them work. Yep, they will work. A little bigger than what I thought they'd be, but it's alright, we'll make them work. These things bend too. They really bend these. They're pure copper inside, which is nice. But we will make these work. We will definitely make these work. There we go. When we have these bolted in, then we have a complete battery pack. 4 cells combined. Now, what do we need to protect the battery and to protect our investment for the cells to be able to operate it? What is that?
A BMS.
What is a BMS?
Battery management system.
Very good. Okay. And that's what we have here from our fine folks at Overkill. Overkill, what I would recommend, they sell these 3 different ways. They sell them without the cables, they sell them with longer cables, soldered in. They solder it in for you. If not, you'll have to solder them in yourself. And hopefully you have a gun that's hot enough that will melt the solder and make a good proper connection. So, you know, it's worth the $10. And then of course they put lugs on the end for you on your requested size. I would request a 3/8 if we're working with these type of batteries. And as you can see, they actually, what makes their value a little bit better is they actually test everything out. It's really exciting. They sit there and they look at the configurations, the capacities, the parameters, the cells that the battery was on, past, battery voltages. They tested everything, and overall results, verified fault counts, 0. It's amazing that they do such a thorough testing. It's really, really nice. Back to this thing. What this does, it goes ahead, and I actually have this wrapped up so we don't have any shorts or any problems going on, because I needed to extend things for our inventory. Anyway, we have a thermistor that goes ahead And you want to place this on your batteries within it, because this is how it knows whether the batteries are too cold or to charge safely, or even to use and discharge, or whether the battery cells are getting too hot. You don't want an ambient air outside, you want them right directly to that. Here what we're going to do, and this is for the Bluetooth, which we'll show you just very briefly. We could do a whole video on just all the parameters. I'll link a link below. There's a gentleman that does a really good job on YouTube for that. And then of course, this goes to our battery. This goes to the negative, to the battery itself, right here, which I have right here. So we can go ahead and make it work. While that's all happening, we also have some wires to connect up. And these wires actually look at each different cell and give you the information needed. And it knows what's going on, so each individual cell will not overcharge or over discharge. If one of the cells is too high, you just stop charging. If it's too low, the whole pack will stop charging. And it usually comes really nice kit. They come with a discharge accessory here, and it comes like this. So I recommend to go ahead and get a whole pack. They're really cheap on Amazon, about 3/8 size ring connectors, and it has the heat shrink built right into it. So we can go ahead then and make our connections to it in everyday value here. And what we'll do is, let's go ahead and connect these up and get this going here. We got some bolts. Sorry about these bus bars. They are a lot bigger than they should have been, and I just assumed that battery Evo gave me something to fit right equally, but that's all right, because this is just for demonstration purposes anyway. And then of course when we wire these up, we have 4 positive wires and a negative wire. Our final negative black wire will be here. Our first positive wire will be here. Our second negative positive wire will be here. Our third positive wire will be here. And our fourth positive wire will be here connected. And let's go ahead and put some of the screws in that we don't need to mess with, which are primarily negatives, until we get to this negative right here. And you never want to over tighten these. They're not hardened steel, and you can strip the threads. So put some torque. If it's not for the battery Evo, they only want you to put hand torque on. It's even the reason why they give you the hand wrench to tighten these up. But most others, when you're making your connection, ask you to use around 7 foot-pounds. Go ahead and tighten that up too, which isn't much, but it's good enough. Plus, while I'm making these adjustments here, making this work, your cells, if you didn't buy them from Battery Evo, are already strapped, as you've seen on our prior video, and compressed. They're going to be, well, outside. What I recommend is to get 2 pieces of 3/8 inch plywood. Cut it to the size of your cell, just a little short down here, for both sides here. And then you know those long hand clamps that you can go back and forth. What I recommend is to get 2 of them, 1 for each side. Clamp those, and don't forcefully clamp. Clamp it so it just feels snug. And give maybe a good one. Once you got it tight, slide the clamp in. Maybe 1 or 2 cranks is all you need. That's only after you put these in negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, positive, negative. Once you clamp it down, then take some fiber tape and tape around it on the top, on the bottom, and then remove the clamps. And after that, go ahead and tape the middle. The middle is really where the studies have shown to be the problem area, where the bulge, where it bulges a little bit when it extends and expands. So that's where we would, and like Eve and other studies have shown, instead of getting 2,000, some of them are saying up to 7,000 years of life if you expand it, or if you compress it just a little bit. They give a certain number, and if anybody'd be glad to tell me how many, like how to measure it, like in foot-pounds or something else, I'd be glad to share that information as well. But they give some off-the-wall scientific number calculation, and I don't understand it. So just make it tight enough that you can actually take the 2 pieces once the clamps are off after tape, and you can lift it up and it's all compressed together. You know, they have some fiberboard that you can put between the two too, and I kind of recommend that so nothing shorts out, because remember the cases on many of the batteries is part of the battery. It has part of the charge to it. Okay, well, we have that. So now let's go ahead and let's start our wiring for this. What we're going to do after this is we're going to check all of our wiring before we plug anything into the BMS. So this is the negative, it goes right here. Let's go ahead and from the negative, let's find the very first wire next to it. Oops. They give really a long piece, and I'm going to go ahead and keep it because hopefully I get blessed with somebody letting us go ahead and sponsoring us with 100 amp power battery cells where I can test them out for you all and display this even better and more permanently. That's nice and neat. Okay. This is for the blue wire. And they give a great manual. If you go to their site, I really recommend Overkill. I've heard really no problems with them. Always put this on the bottom, and then the lighter ring balancing, because these wires will balance a small amount, using about 30 micro-ohms to go ahead and do that. But anyway, I've never heard anything or any complaints at all about this company. So the next one, after that one, we're going to look for, this one's connected, we're going to look for the next wire, number 2. And we want to wire these this way, okay? We want to go 1, 2, 3, 4 next to each other, because it only stands what we put into it and following the cells. Usually when you have these, they're going to fit nice and neatly on here. But Next one. And then finally the last one, which will go here. With going right. Can we see everything, Chris?
Yeah.
Why would we want to balance these?
So one isn't doing all the work while one is hardly doing anything.
Kind of like that. You know, you can look at it that way, and that would be a good thought process on it. What it does is, remember I said that it balances and it checks to make sure that each cell, if the one cell won't go over or under, overcharge or undercharge. This helps make sure that all of them are being used 100% of them all the time. Because if one overcharges and throws the overcharge, then the other cells stop charging. So ultimately, they could be undercharged compared to the other. And if discharging at the same time, you're only getting so much energy from that. That in there so it doesn't go. Go ahead and put the positive right here. Actually, that's about all she did. Now let's check. You don't want to plug the BMS in and have a short. Number one, you could do damage. Number two, you could be doing a lot of other things. We're going to tighten these up, all of them. But just hand tight. Like I said, you don't want to do any damage to them, so let's check the wiring. And there's one way to do that with the voltmeter. And we were reading about 3.28 volts the other time. Right, Mr. C?
Yeah.
Which means they need to be charged. So they're holding probably maybe about 30% of their charge right now. But that's the way they get shipped, and that's the safe way they get them shipped. So everything's nice and snug now. Let's take the end of this. And with our voltmeter, let's just turn it on to, what did we turn it on to?
20.
20, because 2 is too small, right? It would just overload it.
Yeah.
The numbers. Very good. Can you do me a favor? Can you see if you can see that?
Yep.
Can you see the numbers?
0, 0, 0.
Very good. Could you do me a favor? Hold it there.
Sure.
Just make sure that you can see it, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to test this out. We're going to put on the black one, we're going to put the black probe. And then on the next one, the very first positive, we're going to put the red probe. So get it untangled. What's your reading?
3.28.
Very good.
$3.278. 3.28. 3.28.
What's this reading?
13.13.
Very good. That's all of them put together. Thank you. Once again, all I did, so everybody can see, is I went ahead and I placed This is the black wire. There's a little piece of testing. You can put a little tester right there. The black probe goes there. On the first one, you put the red probe. Then you slide this down each time. You put the red probe this way, and you put the negative probe there. And we go ahead and read them. Well, it looks like it's time for us to go ahead and test everything out. So let's plug it in. Only goes one way. There's two little tabs on there. So plug it in. And everything's plugged in. So let's see. Making sure I don't short nothing out. We actually have, battery thing's not on there, but you would put this probably on the side or something else like this right here, and then you can put the thermistor right inside of the cells. But we have the Bluetooth working, and they have an app, which is awesome. You can see a lot with this information here. Let me see if I can open it up. To it. Signal strong. Zion. Connecting. Capacity. If we go ahead and change this, we know that the capacity is supposed to be 150. Cycle capacity. I want to say 100. I want to use it all. You could leave it there to 80. And as you can see, everything's right here. It's reading 29.3 temp. We can change a lot of that. Cell voltages are 3.294, 3.294, 3.296, and 3.291. That's what I mean by each of the cells now, if you can see it. Each of the cells, they have, in the micros, there's a differentiation, and it reads it automatically. So hopefully when we fully charge it up and rebalance it back down, they recommend what's called top balance. And top balance goes ahead and what you do is you would take wire up positive plus positive, 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 positive. And you would negative, 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 negative. And then of course your positive and negative you would put on a charge, because you would only read 3.65 volts. It's paralleled, connected, and you would charge it up until it's at the full extent at 3.65 volts. Once again, there's a zillion. You just Google top charge. There's all kind of different ways to go ahead and do that. Anyway, thank you. This is one way that the battery cell's really ready to go. You just put this onto the side, connect up the wires. I would just kind of connect them up. They give you, what's really amazing too is they sit there, they not only give you one of these, they give you two of these, and so they give you ample tie downs, everything else, so you can do it. They even give you one to help your friends out. This is awesome. This is one way that you can connect up your BMS and have your battery pack ready to be installed into our solar generator that we're building. Okay, well thank you, and you have a wonderful day.